Would you please welcome ICNZ CEO Tim Grafton to officially get us underway. Tim.
Ina iwi I hui hui nei, nau mai, haere mai, ki tēnei hui, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, talofa lava, whakalofa lahi tahu, namaste, ni ho, kia orana, bula vinaka. Welcome, greetings to the ICNZ conference. It's going to be a great conference and you're really going to enjoy it because it's got some really interesting stuff coming through. That list of salutations just reflects the ever-changing profile of New Zealand, the experience of New Zealand. And within that change comes risk, comes opportunity, and that's where we are as an industry. The insurance industry is at the center of that change. And that's where the conversations today are going to go. So I really encourage you to participate, ask those questions, network through the breaks, and get to know the people here and get the discussions going. We're going to start off with two speakers who are going to give us insights into the economic changes in New Zealand and the demographic changes. Those are fundamental changes because within that dynamic, that whole risk and change nexus starts to work, and that's where we operate. And within that, insurance's response to that, we will have an answer coming through from Jackie Johnson, the President of the Insurance Council. After the caffeine hit and morning tea, we're going to enter the world of cyber space. Now that's a great enabler for business, but it brings with it significant risk at the infancy that it's at the moment around national security and business security. And again, we have an insurance response to see how insurance can play a role within that cyber risk world. After that, we have a glimpse into the future. We look to the year 2025. We look at telematics. We look at big data. What does that mean for predictive analytics? What does that mean about where we're heading? We're going to be able to see that in the year 2025 or 2030, we're going to be able to anticipate consumers' needs as providers, anticipate those needs before the consumer knows them. Or is aware that what needs to be provided. So what does that mean to the paradigm in which the insurer delivers their distribution channel? What does it do for competition? And ultimately, what are the ethical questions that it raises? After lunch, we go and look at the more immediate issues around the capital markets in the world, the flow of new capital coming in from those US pension funds from the perspective of a reinsurance broker. What is that going to mean in terms of the market here? What will it mean in terms of our prudent underwriting? What are the pressures there? And then ultimately, when it comes down, when all is said and done, what is insurance? It is a set of words in a contract, a legal contract. And we've had that mega tested in Christchurch. Numerous court cases have come out with decisions that have informed a lot more about those insurance contracts. So what is the best practice that we have in place around that? We'll be hearing about that. And then at the end of the day, we'll take the long view around where natural hazards pose the risks to this country. And we'll be looking at the expertise from people who've come in from the UK, where they've looked at flood issues. We've got local government speakers, those people who are at the hard coalface end, making those tough decisions, making those political trade-offs, and yet looking to the long term. And today, coincidentally, we launch, and there's a brochure on your table, about how we believe we can better protect New Zealand by taking that long view, and we have some alignment with the local government on that. That will be the conference. Really get engaged in it, but this conference would not happen if it wasn't for our sponsors. So I just want to acknowledge, first of all, KPMG, our platinum sponsor. KPMG always have a must-read booklet on the table. I always take it away, read it 2 or 3 times. There's some great stuff in there to read. We've got our silver sponsors, insurance specialist Marnie Burrows-Horner and Affinity Group. They provide all that rich data and analytics that so inform our industry. Then we've got our silver sponsors, leading law firm DLA Phillips Fox, major leading broking company, Crombie Lockwood, Melville Jeff Weavers, who provide a lot of our statistical data on the industry, and Thompson and Clark Security and Investigative Specialists. So they join us. We've also got a new sponsor in DAC Beechcroft, another leading law firm coming and providing our lunch, and also Peter Davies, Actuarial and Financial Services, brings us afternoon tea. I don't know whether it's going to be ice cream again, Peter, but really looking forward to it if it is. So those are our sponsors, and before I ask you to thank them, I also want to recognise the speakers that come here. We cover their costs, but we don't cover much else. And they give their time and they give their expertise to make this conference come alive for us. So I'm really indebted to them. And I'd like to invite you, if you could, just a round of applause to thank the sponsors, to thank the speakers, because it enables us to put on a conference, which I think is probably the best value conference that you can get in this country at the moment. And with that, I'll encourage you to participate, enjoy the day, network, and I'll hand you back to the good care for the rest of the day of Andrew Patterson.